Click Click Bang, sort of, it came by accident. In the Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
Me and one of my best friends, H, would watch him, and every time we'd say when he gets the ball, this guy just shoots. So we used to say, Jermaine, what we used to go,
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's what he does.
Pulls and go.
He just shoots, just shoots. So one day I was doing a game, and Crazy Shot comes in, and instead of going, I went click, click, bang. So that came just in the moment, and there it was.
One of the most talented people I've ever come across when it comes to his craft. He did something that hadn't been done in years. There's only certain ways in which you do things. Even in the realm of whatever you do, there's a boundary to say everything has been done. He went and reinvented it and did it in a way that had all of our attention. He's my guest today for the hour on a Thursday, because you know how it is. On Thursday, we tell inspirational stories based on our lives, based on what we experienced. You don't have to like sport to understand those stories. You know, the story of, Chulane, you don't have to like sport to know that he was a boy stuck in Georgia. You know, the story of Mark, I think it was, who was in Cape Town with his family when he got his leg chewed off by a shark. You don't have to be into sports to understand that he had to and undergo so much in his life for him to change all that around and look at life in the positive way. I mean, he smiled and he laughed as he was telling us that story. You know, he was chuckling as it was funny to him, but he looks at everything that he has gone through in his life and he says, hey, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here with this and that, and I'm grateful for that. What about Mhlengi, the young triathlete in Durban who got his legs sewn off with a chainsaw and says, Andile, look at me now. Look at what I've achieved. That story actually was so inspirational that the guys in Ncube, upon hearing that story, said, no, Andile, please, let's get a hold of this guy because we want him to talk to our players before the younger match. Before the Young Africans match, Mhlengi Gwala was in Ncube addressing Sundowns players and sharing his story of inspiration. If you know Rolando Mokoena, you remember many people laughed at him when he told the story of Hector Peterson during a game and he needed to rile up his troops. He said, what you're facing here is not much. Think of the story of Hector Peterson, whose blood we still walk on today. That was a lot. What you guys are facing is something you can overcome. And those are the sort of stories that are born of this day on a Thursday. And I'm hoping that the trials, the tribulations, the story of triumph of having a brother back at home is going to be one of those stories again. It's exactly 12 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. We come back. We begin with the results from last night in the Champions League. Not quite the same, man, eh? And the second night of Champions League is never quite the same. And the first night, there were so many games. There was Banyana, there was DSTV Premiership. There was so much. And I thought, let me prepare myself for night 2. It wasn't quite the same. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into that before I introduce to you who our guest is. Atletico Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. 2-1 is how it ended, with Atletico taking the lead there at home. De Paul and Lino scoring the 2 goals. Haller scoring for Borussia Dortmund. Paris Saint-Germain playing Barcelona. In a 3-2, Barcelona scoring 3 away at Paris Saint-Germain. There was Rafinha with a brace in the 37th and the 62nd minute, and Christensen in the 77th with the winner there to cancel out Dembele and Vitinha's goals. 3-2 is how it ended in those 2 games in the Champions League. Now, our story for today is a very personal one, because when I arrived at the SABC, he was one of the, he was a gents. He was one of those people that everybody loved and everybody wanted to be around. He was the coolest guy on television and radio. Ladies and gentlemen, commentary has been what it's been for a very long time. Very few people enter into the commentary world and change it. You know, you speak of Mark Gleeson over the years. He's been fantastic, but the way Mark Gleeson does commentary has been, the most superb way to do it. It was exemplary to many for many, many years. I remember growing up, Zama Masondo was my favorite commentator. Gonya Olunwabu was a stipend at my home. We'd even use it in everyday talk. Peter Drury is a modern-day poet who once again has revolutionized what we know as football commentary. But for South Africans, Baba Mthethwa deserves a worthy mention. Mapensele, a worthy mention. But the new school of commentators, a man whom, whether you're a Model C or Kulele Kasia Jerez, you could not but fall in love with. He changed and revolutionized commentary with 3 words. He's in the studio with me to talk about his story. It's simply this: click, click, bang. Sitting with me is, and I won't say this now because I think he's still got so much to do. So he's not quite at legendary status, yes, but I don't know what is that status of moving your way in front of everybody to the legendary status, because that's the route to which SIZWE MABENA is walking. Commentator here at the SABC, formerly with SuperSport, but before that, with the SABC, where his career began. SIZWE MABENA now joins me. I'm looking forward to this chat. What's going on? Are you okay?
My man, thank you for the intro, firstly. Way too kind. Thanks for the kind words. Means a lot. And yeah,
Listen to that voice. Somebody give me that voice. I'd have a lot more work.
What are you talking about? Come on. You got a presence, Andile. But yeah, man, you're too kind. Way too kind, yeah.
Are you
way
well?
I'm good. I'm in a very good space. I'm well.
I'm in high school.
Yeah.
I'm in high school when, at the time, I'd fallen out of love with local football.
Yeah.
For some or other reason, it was that era that I was just like, yeah. But maybe, I don't think I think it was just, there was a lot of other things happening to a young man who's, leaving high school, going to varsity. There was too many distractions.
Yes.
And the one day I visited a friend of mine who is so in love with sport, and he's forcing us to watch a game. And I'm like, geez, I haven't watched this in so long.
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch.
Sure.
I watch, but I'm not there. I'm watching, but I'm not there. I'm on my Nokia playing Snake or something.
Oh, they still have Snake back then.
Yeah,
That's how long ago this was. Yeah.
And then a goal is scored, but I don't know that it's a goal. All I hear is, there it is. Click, click, bang. I turn around and I say, what is that?
Yeah.
Because football and the way commentary is done is so standard. We've done it the same way for many, many, many years. It changes here and there. It's Laduma, it's Kian, it's all these things. But that was like, what is that?
Yeah.
And there was no rewind back then. There was no rewind back then. That was the only goal of the game. It was gone.
Yeah.
And that was you.
Sure.
That was my introduction to SIZWE MABENA. Welcome.
Thanks.
And thank you for bringing me back.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me. That was a long time ago, though.
It was. When did it all start? When did you start on radio? On television?
But we are in 2024 now, 2004. I think I did my first game, January 2004. So what happened was I had auditions in 2003, I think, early 2003. My dad calls me up and he's like, "Yeah, look, you want to get into broadcasting? Because I wanted to be a radio DJ."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Nah, if you want to get into broadcasting, I'll give you my blessing if you go to presenting or commentating in sports. So go try these auditions at SABC." So then I came in and I did it, and he thought I'd do well because I played a lot of sports growing up. And
but are you following football at the time?
Yeah, I've always followed, always played from under 9 to under 18 and so on. Played a lot of sport growing up. So he thought, yeah, this is what you'd be good at. And he spoke to my girlfriend at the time. So then they sat me down and they're like, try this out. So came in for the audition, 2003. I was still like 22, 23 years old. I was a kid. Then they didn't call me for a while. Then I eventually got a call from Rob Rogers, who used to be the executive producer at the time.
Yeah.
So he calls me up, "Hi, this is Rob Rogers. Can you come through SABC?" But it's like 6-8 months later. I'd forgotten about it.
What?
Yeah. So I walk into his office, and I'm at the door, and I knock, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Rob Rogers." And I haven't sat down yet or anything. And he goes, "Yeah, you see my brain?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Damn it, it's too young." And he starts, pacing up and down in his office, like, "No, it's way too young." He looks at me and goes, "How old are you?" 23. I'm like, "Yeah, 23. He's like, "No, damn it, way too young, way too young." He's like, "No, you're going to have to commentate. Can't make you present. You're too young." He's like, luckily you got a voice that's,
Who were the presenters in 2004 in the SABC?
Roberts, Carol.
So it's Rod Marawa, it's Carol.
Walter.
I think Carol at the time was still Carol Shabalala. Carol Banana. At the time, yeah. Walter Mugwena
was still here. So he's like, "No, you're way too young to present," because they initially wanted me to present. He says, "No, I'm going to sit with you 6 months. Now, 6 months, you're going to learn how to commentate." So then he'll bring tapes, and every Tuesday I have to come in and sit with him and listen. He's like, "Don't listen to him, listen to him. This is what this guy does wrong. This is what this guy does right." And as time went, towards the end of that year, 2003, I started getting 5 minutes and a half for games. And then my first full game was in
Who you working
2004. About the Tower, Michael Abramson, the TT then. So 2004, January, TT had gone off to the AFCON.
Yeah.
So they needed someone to fill in. Michael Abramson was also busy at the time. So that's when I got really the break. And I was doing week in and week out from then on. So, yeah, but I was a kid. I was
Do you remember your first full game?
Yeah, horrible.
What was
horrible. It was Black Leopards, I think, against Rangers at the Toronto Stadium. But here's the thing. The game starts at 3, right?
Yeah.
So we got a chartered flight, and we're going to land by the military base by Toronto, right? And then still get to the stadium in time. And you're nervous, so you want to get there in time, prepare yourself. And when we get there, it's raining, so it's cloudy, so we can't land. So we have to fly back to Joburg, and then fly back out there, and land in Polokwane now and drive. So by the time I get to the stadium, my backpack is still on my back. I haven't got my notes out. And mind you, I still don't know all the Leopards players at the time. You know Chiefs, Pirates, and all the popular players. But you need your team.
Yeah, you need to do your work.
By the time I get there, my backpack is still on my back, and they're like, Q. Hello, hi, welcome to the game. And the worst 90 minutes of my life. So we had a bus ride back, and I was sitting right in front of the bus, next to the bus driver. I was so embarrassed. I mean, Max Maponyani there, and I've just had the stinker, right? I just stank up the place. And Max comes and sits next to me the whole time on the whole way back, like, yeah, what's your name and where are you from? And don't worry, this happens. And he was the nicest dude. Like that bus ride back, I was ready to quit. It was that bad, and he just made me feel like, no, it'll be okay, you'll be all right,
Jeez.
So big up to Max.
For those listening, I want to take you back a little bit. I want to play some clips from SIZWE MABENA here. Trust me, I wish I had the stinker. I wish I found that one game, because I would definitely relive that. But have a listen to some of SIZWE's work.
As Loftus Fellstone opens its doors to the very best on the African continent in as far as club size go. It's the elite club competition, of course, in the CAF Champions League, and but two huge sides here in Mamelodi Sundowns and Young Africans, known yet as Yanga in Tanzania. They square off for the second time in just a few weeks. Keep in mind they met out in Tanzania. Scoreline ended with a 0-0 draw, if you will, at the end of it all here. We settle it tonight here. No surprise then to see the Mamelodi Sundowns fans out loud and proud here in the nation's capital, hoping the side can do what they've done time and time again. Interesting movement on that far side. Getting top ball to find what looks a good run. There's Kia's great first touch! Didn't quite work out. So close to being a stunning opener. Underside of the bar and didn't cross the goal line. Oh, it did well, the pass was...
I must be very honest. Like, I've heard that commentary, that piece, that last one here. I heard it so many times, but even now, when you went click, I still went bang.
Yeah, well,
because it wasn't quite a bang.
It felt like it was at the time, and then as soon as it hit the goal line and so on, I thought to myself, "No man, wait, hold on, don't get overly excited." So it was click, and I'd already committed, and it was like, "No, wait, hold on." So I had to hit the brakes there, which I liked how it sounded naturally when I listened to it later on. But it was a nice moment. It
really was. Welcome back. You're back at the SABC.
Sure.
When I got here, you were here.
Mm-hmm.
You've always been the cool guy in the building. Like, you're the one that everybody's friends with, so it's easy to gravitate towards you. Always
Sure.
great conversations. You're very personable in the way that people can talk to you. You left, obviously, for greener pastures at the time, for whatever reason. You're back now. Why are you back?
Why am I back?
Yeah, why are you back?
Because it's the right time to be back. Firstly, it's the right place to come back to. I'd taken a few years off around COVID. I'd gone home. I needed to go home, just personally, on a personal note. And once I got there, my dad was also sick. So when COVID ended, I realized once I left, if I left, come back and start working again, and come back, it would have been the last time I saw my dad. So decided to stay on until for about a year and a half after that.
Is your dad late?
Oh, yeah, I passed away about a year and a half after COVID.
Oh, I'm
ended,
terribly sorry.
After we started the league. So for that time, I was there every day with him, looking after him and chilling with him. He wanted me back. I didn't want to come back. We fought about it a lot, but in the end, he understood. But for me, personally, I needed that connection with him to reconnect, because I spent so much time away from home that over the years, with the success that came less and less time spent at home.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to see him, I hadn't seen him in a while, and I didn't realize how much he had aged. You speak on the phone and so on, but once you see someone, you realize, no man, I've spent way too much time away, and I owe this guy a couple of years of my life, which was the case, which is why I stayed on.
in an industry that we work in where you can't work from home,
No.
where, we pay as you go.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this, and I will never have to explain it.
Yeah.
For every day that you don't hear me on the air, I'm not getting paid.
I'm not making money.
For every day that you hear me, I put in an invoice for that day. You're the same for all these years.
Yeah.
If you say I took time off, it's not like a corporate person taking time off.
No.
You went to sit at home
away.
unpaid. You walked away. You left your job.
Yes. Needed to. On a personal level, I needed to. Got to a point where I disconnected so much.
Because we didn't hear you for a long time, SIZWE. And
disconnected so
and
much.
a lot of fans who love you. You walked in here, and Super Dave, who's a technical producer for Touch's show, lost his mind. Because that's who you are. I don't think you realize. And whenever I tell you, you don't realize who you are to us. So when you left the airways for a good 3-4 years, it was, where's SIZWE?
Yeah, well, I was at home. I was with family. I was in a good space. I needed to be there. And look at it this way. I'm, 20 years now in this industry? This is 2004.
Yeah.
By the time you and I meet, it was late 2000, it was 2010.
Yeah,
closer to there.
2010, yeah.
I'm working at Metro here in the morning, Monday to Friday. At SABC Sport, also news. So we do all of these gigs to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
So when everybody's at home, we out here working. So what you get used to that, and as the years go, and as you get more and more successful,
you were at Metro,
the
morning show,
As the years go and you get more and more successful, you get busier. And what people don't realize is you end up spending a Tuesday away in a hotel room, Wednesday away in a hotel room, Thursday you're back, you're doing a talk show until late at night, Friday you're back on the road again doing a game in Maritzburg, Saturday maybe you're in Rustenburg, Sunday, if you're lucky, you're in Joburg or Pretoria, that's close. You know what I mean? And that's your whole week, including whatever else you're doing on the side if you're doing radio and so on. And you don't take any time off. So give that a good 10 years and the burnout starts to kick in. You get tired of the hotels and life on the road all the time. Not that I don't love the job, but at some point I needed to just reconnect with me, who I am, go back home, reconnect with family. And that's what I did.
At which part was, for you, the apex of, I can't anymore? What was your worst moment to say, I need to go? Where I am now, I can't be here. I'm done. I need to walk away. I need to go regroup. I need to go home.
It's like, when I saw my dad.
So when you saw him and you saw how aged he was.
I got to go, Also, I needed to be in his space because I wasn't in a good place myself. I wasn't enjoying it anymore. I wasn't enjoying the trips to the airport every second day. The days in...
you fell out of love with it? Can I say that?
Yeah, and it's the coolest job in the world. That's the thing. It's the coolest job in the world. I love doing it. I was born to do it. But at some point, it was just like, this is all I'm about. I've got I got no personal life. This
at
is
the
all
time, you've got a show in Supersport. I think it was the Africa show that you're presenting. You're a lot more on TV now, doing a lot more things, over and above the fact that you're commentating.
Yeah.
So you have reached like what you came to the SABC to do, you are now doing.
Yeah.
You're not too young anymore. You're perfectly fitting.
Yeah.
You are at the top of your career.
Sure. But it's just stopped being fun.
You're making more money than you've ever made in your life.
Yes. But it's stopped being fun. I had no life outside of it. That's all I did. That's all I was now. All I was SIZWE MABENA in inverted commas. No personal life. And I got used to it. You know what I mean? All I did now was just chase the game. And after a while, you feel lonely. I think that's the biggest thing. This friend of mine, Chloe, I used to tell her all the time, no, I think the thing is that I feel lonely. Like, there's no one to talk to. It's always just game or production or, you know what I mean, commentating standards, and we always want to push the envelope and go and do so much better. But after a while, you realize, no, man, I'm just now at a point where I'm feeling distant from my brother. I hadn't seen him in a few years, hadn't seen my dad in a few years, hadn't seen my mom in a few years, hadn't been home in years. So if they didn't come visit me, I didn't see them, you know, and just I needed time off.
Wow.
I was burning out. On top of a great career, great time away. Every time we go out and go to Durban, it's fun. We have fun. We party.
Because
you do the job.
It's a stressful job that needs a lot. Because I don't think I know lawyers read a lot. Yeah. But trust me, people in sport at this level that we are read a lot. So we're at home reading and to know every player and know all and trust me, we don't know all of them. I can tell you that now. But if I open my book, there's definitely something about every single one of them that I need to read up and know for this particular game and to remember from that last game. So it does consume you, but it has its perks. You know, come end of the game, we gather somewhere, we have fun, we've made a little bit of money, we spend a little bit of it, we have a bit of a party, we get to know the players. So even that wasn't enough.
No, like I used to say, I know a lot of people, but I have very few friends. But I know everybody. You know what I mean? And I know all these great people as well. I mean, you're in the company of great people in our industry. People that have really done great things. For the country and so on. Even though it's just sports, but in the end, they're not really your family. They're not really your best friends. You know what I mean? Your number ones.
You and I, we saw each other all the time. We laughed. We had but you really didn't know anything about me, nor did I about you.
No. So we have a great time, have a great night out in Nelspruit or wherever. But that's that. And you're back home, and when I'm in Joburg, I'm just chilling, waiting for the next flight or for the next production to start. So it just got empty, and that was my fault. It was nobody else's fault. It was my fault. So I needed to just find myself again, spend time with family. So that's exactly what I did.
Let's take a quick break. I'm so engulfed in this. I'm like all in this conversation. Fascinating. I had no idea it would go here. But here we are. And I know because Thursdays we have these proper chats. And I can tell you now that it's one of those where somebody that's just left the office at the moment because they're a corporate person can find synergies with the conversations we're having because it's not about sport. It's about people. Yes, our lives are based on sport, but anybody can find synergy and alignment with what we're talking about today. I'm inspired by the man sitting next to me because of his use of talent, but I didn't know that today I'd have to question how I do things as well. As a father of 4, I often question myself, SIZWE, to say, am I doing the best? Am I really there for my 4 children? And is this why I've been single for so long?
that was me. And I'm still single. Like,
you know what I mean? Let's take a break. It's exactly 6:38 on the Mighty Metro FM. We'll be taking your calls on 086 000 2160, WhatsApp on 060 552 7303. SIZWE MABENA, click, bang. Do they call you that?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Click, and you know it's time.
And you
know it.
Showtime.
You might have to post for a picture here or there. But yeah, I actually enjoy the when someone says click. It's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
It's actually sort of like a pat in the back. I know they appreciate it. So
ZZ, whom I never got to work with because the time I got here, he lived. Was by far for me the epitome of what commentary was. You know, I mean, there were guys like Joe Hoodler on Ukhozi in particular, because growing up, that was the source of sport. But Zama Masondo no Nyaulu Nwabu was it for me. Right? Who was it for you?
Here's the thing. Mark Gleason, because it's English and it's Mark Gleason. I mean, I was listening to Mark Gleason when I was in high school. So when I started commentating, Mark Gleason knows my name. Hey, sees when he's stepping up to me. It's like, hey, you know what I mean? Mark Gleason knows who I am. But then, like you said, now there's ZZ, and I started working same time as Baba. So we started around about the same time together, and we grew up in the same neighborhood. So my home, my parents' home, and Baba's parents' home you could walk there. It's so close. So we started working with them, and Baba's got this hotata thing, and you understand it as a guy who's from the township. I get it. I understand when you speak to people and you say hotata, why they jump up and down. When Uzama goes, zim, you get it. You get it. You know, if you're from the township. So in English, it's very clean. It's just,
Hence the click bang was a thing.
Yes. Then in just trying to be creative, it's trying to now mix and merge the two. Yeah, look, you're a private school kid, whatever, but still, you're a guy who.
Do you remember coming up with it? Were you looking for it?
Click bang, sort of. It came by accident. In the Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
Me and one of my best friends, H, would watch him, and every time we'd say when he gets the ball, this guy just shoots. So we used to say, Jermaine, what we just go.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's what he does.
Pulls and go.
He just shoots, So one day I was doing a game, and crazy shot comes in, and instead of going, I went click bang. So that came just in the moment, and there it was. So there was a click bang. So also little things like guys remember about Pemil. So now you also mix that up in English. I smoked him. You know what I mean? So you start. So that's what I started doing.
So and
creatively and playing.
Because when you look at you don't look at anything in isolation. When you look at your rise doing that, you take a look at where entertainment is. It's TKZ at the time. They private school kids, or Model C's kids. No, private actually. They private school kids who are doing this English thing, but Kwaitorized. They're doing this hip hop thing, but they're Kwaitorizing it. So we are then the listeners are being fed that. So we're these hip hop loving kids who are now being pulled into we're actually Kwaito loving kids because look at TKZ doing it and you're doing it here. It all then makes sense, doesn't it?
So
socioeconomics says, hey, this is the route.
So I think you got to show me a number. So sometimes in English you find an interesting way of saying it. Oh, he stuck a peak of his number. It's an interesting way of saying it, Oh, he placed him still, or lights a fire under him. It's still the way we'd express ourselves, I guess, but only I'm doing it in English, but in a rather interesting way. Just to differentiate myself from Mark Leeson or TT, who are very good commentators. Don't get me wrong, but I just needed to find something that was a bit more me at the time and a bit more fresher.
You mentioned Marx Mapunyan.
Yeah.
He was the same with me. He's got a fatherly thing about him.
Yes.
He's got a sharing spirit.
Yes.
Marx will share. He won't keep everything to himself and, no. Marx will, hey, do this. I've been doing this for years. Listen, to your annoyance at times.
Yes.
But Marx will always be there. What did Marx mean to you here at the SABC? What was that relationship?
Oh, it wasn't just Marx, but Marx, I mentioned him because of the bus trip back. Because my first game, I know I stank up the trains. Like, I know my phones are calling and they're laughing, you know what I mean? Oh, dude, you're whack, you know what I mean? Like, and these are just my friends, like, oh, dude, you're terrible. Like, so I know, like, I've had a bad day, but Marx then sits and he doesn't talk about the game.
And this is Marx Maponya. To you at the time, this is not a colleague. This is Marx Go and Go.
I mean, you know what I mean? And he comes and he sits next to me and says, I'm SIZWE. I'm like, yes, this is MABENA. Yeah. This is MABENA. Is that from Mpumalanga? I'm like, no, I'm Free State, welcome. But my dad's from Mpumalanga. And we just talk about life. When I go to school, did I play football? Jay just finding out about me, life. And later on in the conference, now it's a bus ride from Toyondo.
Yeah, the longest of your life.
It's a long bus ride. We spoke the whole way till we got to a point where by the time we reached in Joburg, he's now telling me about his life, and I'm not even asking that many questions. I'm just in awe, which is Marx. I'm just answering his questions as politely as I can, and he's telling me about his life and how he struggled at first getting to Chiefs, and with time things came all right, and likening it to where I'm at now, how I feel now, and you know what I mean. So that father figure type thing then comes into it, and as the months go, the weeks go, or the years go, we become not only, it's more like an uncle.
When last you see Max?
I think a couple of years ago.
The last time you saw Max Mapunyan was a couple of years ago.
Briefly at the stadium. And he was still looking good. You know Max.
Yeah. Did you, when last you talk to him then?
Oh, I haven't spoken to Max in years now.
Hold on, let me fix that. Max.
Andile, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man.
Oh, wow.
Good evening to you. Good evening to SIZWE. In fact, I think I'll be selfish to say to the listeners, you and SIZWE are my two sons. I always say you are in the same age group with my son. So I've always regarded the two of you as such.
Marx, I wanted to welcome SIZWE back to the SABC by... he took so much time off. We all asked questions of SIZWE. We all heard things when we were worried about SIZWE. Wanted to show him in good health. Wanted to have him here and have the millions that love his commentary and love the person that we've grown up to be around. Wanted to welcome him back and give him that confidence in the same way that you did on that bus drive from, Toyando at the time. And, I know the person you are, and I thought I'd love for you to have some words about SIZWE.
Yeah, SIZWE, welcome back. And I just want to start by these words that you'll never forget. And I've always said, even to my audience when I do my public speaking, that people always count the number of times they have fallen, but they forget that the number of times they have fallen are always more than the number of times they have risen. Because before you fall, you must have been on your feet. So remember those ones that you've been on your feet. So there is no ways that you shall have fallen more than the times you've been on your feet. So that's the first thing. And secondly, welcome back. And the challenges are ahead. A lot will be said, and you just need to stay focused and do what you do best. And, when I say that, I remember when I was with SIZWE and the late Gabo Manyapelo. I wonder if SIZWE have told the story because I've just joined this discussion in the middle. there was a time when we had to initiate him. Did he tell you about this stuff?
No, please do. Tell me.
So just for the sake of the listeners, and I respect their intelligence, but just to explain, you know, often the good old days when the TV has to close at 12 o'clock, there will be those rainbow colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
The what are they called?
Color bars.
The color bars,
yeah.
yes.
The color bars, yes. So I'm trying to simplify it for them. So those color bars. So when we were in Mamelodi working in some game, Pebo Manyapelo said, Mafa, we need to make sure that Musimano or Ramokholis, so sending him goes to the van to ask for color bars. Then he has to climb down the stairs.
Down the stadium.
And he got to the van and he says, Kebo Arkitoko by the color bars.
Now, here's a part of the story I never told you, Marks. So I walked down, now all the way down the stadium, and color bars. I thought I heard cannabis. so I go to the van. And now, firstly, I get to the van and I start knocking. You know, the van is soundproof, right? So I'm knocking there for a good 10 minutes before anyone opens the door. I don't know soundproof. So when I open, Max, no, to me. And Babizu Chabu was the director then. Chabu, no, fan commentator Funa and so Chabu is fan Funan. You know, but really can he pass? So and he's looking at me like, so I didn't even ask for cannibals. I asked for cannibals. And he's just like, I'm a Sebenza fan, I'm a Sebenza. You know what I mean? So I kept that part to myself. I've never actually told him. I went there and I asked for cannibals.
Max Ntone, you know, man.
So we do have such initiations at some point. But
yeah.
On a serious note, we've come a long way. You remember, SIZWE, when we come from all these long trips and then you put my life on the line when I have to drop you at Glen Austin in the dark. I mean, those are farms.
Yes, when I lived out in the plus in Glen Austin. Yeah, we have come a long way, Marks, and thank you so much for, I think, the kind words now when you just came on the line and always being there as well. Many trips. I learned a lot from you guys, just traveling. Firstly, South Africa. I got to see South Africa a lot through the job.
Yeah.
Got to see Africa a lot through the job with Bomax and learning about the different cultures and how to behave and, you know, how to conduct yourselves out there. So many great memories. Burkina Faso, I think my first trip was with you and Gwamanda. We had some great nights out there. So, yeah, Max, over the years, you guys have done a lot as well. And many other guys, of course, in making sure us younger guys were steered in the right direction.
Marks.
No, thanks very much. Thanks very much, SIZWE. And believe you me, I've always asked and I knew everything. Don't think I didn't know everything about you and your whereabouts. And welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Marks, you can still catch Marks, of course, here at the SABC doing commentary on Radio 2000. Marks, I always appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Looking forward to working with you again, Marks.
Thank you. And looking forward to that too, SIZWE.
Sure.
Have fun.
The legendary Goldman Go, Max Maponyane. Hey, see, that's all it was, really. You know, it was just coming on to speak to you and let you know that you went through some trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
You know, the time that you took off was a tough one for most. Losing your parents. You know, somebody actually pinned it down in a book that I read, the Aligned Ones, I think it was called, and said that people don't realize what segregation did, because we have families in KZN, Eastern Cape, everywhere, right? You go home 2, 3, 4 times a year if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Right? Now take it, your parents are in their 60s and their 70s, and God, you know, they live for that 10 years. In that 10 years, you would have seen your family or your parents 40 times.
Sure.
If you actually do the maths, because you go home 4 times a year.
Yeah.
So now every time you go home, start the countdown.
Sure.
See how your life changes.
Yeah.
Because every time you go now, if you've said, hey, in the next 10 years, I'm going to see my parents 40 times, you go for the one in the 4 years now, and the one time in the year that you go 4 times.
Yeah.
Because it's the Easter holidays, because it's Christmas, because it's June holidays, and that one time that you get to go. Say 39. The next time you go, say 38.
Yeah.
Take a look at what your life is going to look like.
You know, because we work a lot with the younger generations coming in, and where you have to like almost help them get through, like Bomax helped us get through when we were arriving. So it's something I say to them a lot now. Look, if things work out your way, you're lucky, and you're successful, you're gonna get busy. everyone's going to want your time.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to say, enough is enough, and I need to balance it out and still be in touch with who I am outside of this world of broadcasting. And if you're not careful of it, it can run away with you. But
the time that you spent with your dad, those 3 years that you quit everything and you went to sit with him, well worth it?
Oh, man, towards the end, there's one day, because like I said in the beginning, we used to fight a lot. Because he's like, I'm like, no, I'm going to be here until whatever. You know, if it's 5 years of this is what we're doing. You know what I mean? Because this is now waking up every day, cleaning him up, and, you know, looking after him, like he's caregiver every day. So towards the end, I put him down every day and kiss him on the forehead at the end of every day. The one day towards the end, he says to me, for your sacrifice. You know, that day it felt like it was all worth it. You know what I mean? That day it felt like, this is all. Yeah, that's when I felt like it was really worth it. It was great for me. I connected. I was back home again. I was me again. I was his son again. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because when we get old, we stop being children.
Yeah.
Sons and daughters to our parents, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine a better way for your dad.
Yeah. So, we had a great last 3 years. It wasn't easy, but it was great. We had a good time. We struggled together. We fought together. We went through a lot together.
And those are your most cherished moments, I can
imagine. Yeah. We're close. We're close. I grew up with my dad and my brother. We're close. He suggested I get into commentary.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a radio
He put
DJ.
you there, yeah.
He directed me here, you know. Close. He means the world to me.
Hey, I have a couple of more people that we spoke to that said, hey, Andile, please let us help you in welcoming the boy. Have a listen to this.
All right, here we go. Call Metro FM now on 0860 002160. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Hey, Bratimi. I believe you have one of my most favorite commentators. It's a click, click, bang. That's what he's always been all about. Click, click, bang. Now imagine this tall gentleman next to this short guy. But hey, good personality, street savvy in terms of how he does things, his commentary. I always call it the hip-hop way of commentary. Not just commentary for football, but it's always been about the street savvy football. Click, click, bang. Welcome back to the mainstream of television. SIZWE MABENA. I get emotional when I think about the journey that you and I have traveled, the joys that we've had. Of course, I've seen you. I never thought that a young man like you, street savvy, would cry, and I've seen you that. But more than anything, it's the personality that you have. Welcome back. I'm happy that you're back. I've been listening to you. I didn't know that you can actually even do netball. But hey, it's good to hear your voice back where you belong. It is a talent that it is not yours, but you were given by the powers be to manage and do your best to manage it. Welcome back. Silo Swama News.
Brian Mati.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with Brian Mati.
Yeah.
Also, Lamakrok Mani, that's, again, take you under your wing. Like he says.
He's a giver as well.
Yeah. We spend so much time together on the road that at times things get emotional. Like he says, he's seen me cry. Because there's times when he's had to slap you in the wrist. He's like, hey, get it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, another one of the people I think in this industry, but there's so many. Deshi Paktawa is another one. They were almost like my fathers away from home.
But it's not just people in commentary and former. It's also, people that I guess you can call journalists, but they're really not. They're a lot more than that. Here's one here. Matlatin Patlele wanted to say something to you as well.
Good evening. My name is Matlatin Patlele. I'm just sending this voice note to say that I'm actually a little bit overwhelmed and and emotional that you are having my brother in studio there, Mr. Click Click Bang himself. I just want to tell him that he doesn't know or understand the profound impact that he has had on a lot of people. I've known him for a very, very long time, working together. Coming through as young journalists and him on television and stuff like that as a commentator, and he's somebody who just seamlessly went about his work. I'm so happy that he's back on commentary. I'm on SABC. I'm doing what he loves, doing what he knows. Definitely, or undoubtedly, one of the best commentators I've had. And it's very good that you have him in the studio. And I just want to say that I work with him elsewhere these days, and he continues to help us. His intimate knowledge of television. You can hear some of the suggestions that he has when we have our meetings behind the scenes, and I'm learning a lot from him. I've learned a lot from him. Also, with the other member, being Chloe, we're really happy to have or to work very closely with somebody like him. As I said, I'm happy he's back, and I am sure that with him, he's going to bring back a lot of ears and eyes on SABC, because his commentary is simply just one of the best.
SIZWE, I don't think you realize the impact you've had.
Look, I'm on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter. Like, you find my name there, I'm there, but I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not registered. Sometimes it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? When you see so many compliments. And this started happening a long time ago, where after a game, 50 great comments, people are saying such nice things about you. It's like, it's not real, man. It's like, it feels like it's too much. So I sort of stay away from it to keep me grounded, or at least try and stay grounded. And then, like, the other day I ran into you on Friday, and after the Sundowns game.
Yeah.
And then you ran up to me, you gave me this hug, and you lifted me off the ground, and now I'm almost in tears, like, why is everyone making such a big deal about this thing? And they're all jumping up and down. Yeah, maybe I don't see it from your guys' point of view. I enjoy being around all you guys, working with everybody, working in the industry, doing what I do. I love it. But maybe I don't see it and appreciate it the way, everybody else does.
I'm going to owe Faith. It's going to be 2 minutes now, because I already owe her a minute from last week. Let's go to Shola very quickly, because I promised people, Shola's gone. Shola's gone. The phone's gone down there. So in my closing, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah,
you're an immense talent that I can't wait for those that are new to football. Because remember, there are those that are new to football are going to get to experience you the way I did.
Sure.
From a man who has lost a father, who wanted nothing but the best from my career and everything I do, was very supportive. I take solace in knowing that if the millions that listen here can hear my voice, I can only imagine how loud he hears it.
Sure.
And I hope that through your commentary, he hears your voice loud.
Thanks, G. Means a lot.
Thank you for coming through, boy.
Seriously, means a lot, G. Thanks a lot.
SIZWE, click, MABENA. I appreciate you.
Sure.
It's exactly 6:59, about to go 7 o'clock top of the hour on the Mighty Metro FM. Very few conversations I've had on this show have been like that. You never know where it's going to go when you take personal stories on a Thursday, and you use this ground that is sport to tell them. Great conversation. Listen, something clicked in the conversation I had with SIZWE MABENA, but it's just the first click. That's all he had. He's got another click and a big bang still coming in his career. I truly believe that. The SABC and sport, you said you're redoing this whole thing. You're doing it better and bigger. You've done so by bringing back this man. What a talent. Pela, Nantsomi.